put a conundrum on the table for you folks who will be joining us to deal with. As I said, I've already gotten a message from a friend of mine in Staten Island. He said, hell yeah, I'll do it for $5 million. What he and Paul doesn't know is there's a lot of sadomasochism involved. Cigarette burns, whipping, tying up. What's up, Paul? You feel it's just that scientifically proven 7 seconds and dies.
And you're presuming I'm not already involved in the same.
Oh, wow, okay. Well, Richard, you see, Richard, he bowl a ball back at you there, boy. He don't say that petty thing the way he is go through.
Okay, there you go.
Steve, you can find the appropriate Sparrow tune for that. I don't know, both of them. I don't know, Gene and Dinah. You know, anything. Sparrow have lots of tunes.
Yeah.
Sparrow have lots of tunes that could fit in this discussion today.
I have one right here. Here we go.
No, Steve, that's not. No, how that fit? How?
Well,
You don't worry how it
depending on the race of the woman.
How that fit? No matter. I don't discriminate.
Well, there we go. Let me give the results of our poll this morning. We asked, do you expect charges to be laid against police officers in the killing of those young men? 9 people said no, 6 said yes. So nine of our participants said no, they don't expect any charges, and 6 said yes. All right. We see where it goes. You know. So we welcome two of our regular Friday people already, but if we could get some new ones today too, that'd be nice. So we can get a sense of who's out there.
Can I hear get gray already, Lincoln? Wasn't it orange last week?
It was pink.
No, the top orange,
okay.
bottom gray.
Okay.
Yeah. So,
morning, Richard.
Is Richard there today?
Robinson.
KT, that's KT.
Morning, Katie. Would you take the $1 million, Katie?
$5 million.
$5 million US?
million.
Katie, let me see who sit down next to you before you answer. If it's the school principal. Let me see if it's the school principal.
My daughter's in that. I'm dropping her to school.
But then don't answer the question.
That's school. I thought school closed.
Lincoln, would you take the $5 million US?
Paul, let me answer that question.
Oh, just yes or no. Yes or no.
They say no debate.
No explanation.
No debate. Yes or no.
That question is a loaded question. Let me answer
Clearly, it's a loaded question. We have no problem with that.
that question. I would answer by saying this. You are talking about a one-time thing.
24 hours.
24 hours. I will volunteer Monday, Wednesday, and Friday for $1 million. You understand?
Oh, so
Monday, Wednesday, and Friday for that kind of money.
there you go. So you answer say yes. Ragoobarsingh the poll, please.
Wendell, you have the results?
I did it already.
Yeah,
Oh, you
he did it
did?
already.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, all this similar to me.
Yeah,
9 people said they don't expect charges.
Like it
and
gets
6
slapped
said-
up already this morning, Paul.
5 million. Did you hear my response to when they were on?
Hey, Wendell,
What's
like he gets slapped up already. He have know that the poll gone already.
And how do you know I don't enjoy being slapped up?
You get whipped for the morning already. Or?
Yeah,
How do you know I
yeah,
don't
yeah.
enjoy that? Do you know that?
You can enjoy it, but your brain's still trying to reorganize itself.
Do you know of my proclivities?
Go down your rabbit hole by yourself, you know.
No, we going with him this morning, Richard. We want to go there. Let me go.
You're
What are
also
your proclivities?
puritanical, and all of you saying no quietly when they come and they fall. Yeah, no problem. Yeah.
What are your proclivities?
You could get 48 hours. Not even 24 for the $5 million US. I taken it.
Katie, you know you want to join this conversation with your daughter this morning. I ain't so sure, you know. When
We're not
Paul
saying
start, he
we're not
do
saying
something.
for what in front of the child.
Stay out of that one.
It's for services rendered. That's what we have to say.
A partner of mine who has certain proclivities message and say he took it twice, but the woman had no more money. Unless he gave me permission to call his name, he joined us one morning.
Listen. He sent you a message. That means he can call his name.
No, he joined us. I'm gonna give all your hints. He joined us one morning and then duck out without saying much.
Dr. Rowley?
Nah, I talk about live on our Friday show.
All this pretense, I want to put up for the public, but my God, I won't do that. Richard, who is Mr. Liberal?
Richard will do it.
Richard will do it.
Yeah,
I didn't say I wouldn't do it. I just said I need
You
to
didn't answer. You have on your whore.
Yeah, I didn't answer.
I'm not even hesitating. Come.
I can safely
Put the money in your account first. Once the money registered, there we go.
I can safely do it now. I couldn't do it for the last 20 or so odd years, but I can safely
I think
do it
Richard
now.
will take it in Bitcoin.
So, Wendell,
Yes?
you don't think that your wife would understand that you're doing it for your family?
No. Nope. Not the wife
5 by
I had.
7 is 35, you know.
Not the wife I
5
had.
million TT?
Not the wife
Ellington?
I had. Not the wife I had.
Ellington, 35 million TT?
All you have to look at it is not horn, is help. $35 million would help a lot.
Yeah.
But it's not horn if you know in advance or telling you in advance. I ain't hiding it from you.
And then $35 million would make it a lot.
I have a job to do. This is going to help the family.
Mm-hmm.
Somebody going to put this on some paper somewhere that I say that.
It's all right.
It's a philosophical conundrum if they don't understand that.
Yeah.
You understand? I'm telling you in advance. This is to help our family. I'm securing our family's future.
For real.
Me and the children and you, all you're good. If I ain't come out of it, the money in the bank already.
But we've had many movies like
understand?
Pretty Woman is one, if you remember.
You're not doing 1 million. I'm talking about 5 million.
Indecent Proposal.
Indecent Proposal was the next one. We have had a few movies well like this, you know.
Well, the fundamental question is about whether you or not you agree with sex work.
I guess so.
Yeah, that's the fundamental question. If you would agree with saying sex work in the country because it's sex work. You understand? And people, I wouldn't do it, but they will partake in sex work all over the place.
True.
Why I think Villan and places still be running?
True.
They wouldn't do it for the hand trade, but they would do it for a dress or some tires.
Wow, you going on a road
or
boy.
KFC or a trip to Florida. They wouldn't do it. So it's 6 and 1 half, or doesn't it?
Yeah, sometimes the exchange is obscured.
Correct.
And a lot of time it's obscured by marriage, eh?
Say that again?
You effectively do it subconsciously, you know.
You're on your own with that. You're on your own with that.
No, I'm just telling you.
You're on your own
There
with
are some
that.
people-
It depends on the kind of marriage you're in.
Well, there are several women who stay in marriages through money, and there are several men who stay in marriages through beauty, you know. You understand? Several. You understand what I'm saying? Several.
Well, I don't know that equating sex work with what some may consider marital exchanges is appropriate.
Well,
In a marriage, people feel that you share yourself, you share your life, you share your body. You understand? You have marital, what some people call marital duties. You might not always feel to do it, but you do it. That doesn't mean you're exchanging goods for services. And you understand? To me, that's a different scenario. But to me, sex work, what some people term prostitution, it is an ethical dilemma, and some people would agree with it, and some people won't.
yeah.
And there's some people, yes, as Lincoln said, who, and we could open the phone lines to Steve, who would go out with a girl and pay for her and expect sex in return.
Yeah.
And think, well, I buy dinner for you, I'm to you, what are you playing? You understand?
Date rape, you call it date rape.
No, not rape. Not rape. I'm not talking about rape. I'm talking about you take somebody out.
Expectation.
And
But
the expectation
could lead
No, that is a different. No rape is
Okay.
going to occur.
All
I'm
right.
talking about several scenarios where people go out, they buy dinner, and they expect sex in return.
Mm.
You understand? I don't know that is a legitimate expectation because sometimes you won't get, but taking it further and forcing yourself on someone is a different conversation.
Yeah. Okay.
As I mentioned, date rape. Did you all speak about some findings of some date rape drug they found
Ketamine.
in the port or somewhere they found some date rape
Yeah.
drugs?
Yeah, we did. It was on our news, and we spoke about it briefly in the first hour. Ketamine.
Ketamine is the name of it.
Yeah.
All right. It's good that they got that stuff off the streets.
Yeah.
They're
So morning,
probably
Carl
still around.
Guevara, Orlando Timothy, Gloria Gray, and Anthony Tinto. Good morning to you wonderful people. Gloria Gray is in New Jersey. Tinto, of course, is in Canada. And Carol and Orlando right here in Sweet Tea.
Is that what Paul was talking about when he spoke to when something is shipped to a sender?
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Oh, I had just gotten up, so I was hearing that.
You can't ship anything without putting a recipient.
Correct.
And and in many cases a shipping company and or a broker.
I was hearing that between Sleep and Wake, and I remember thinking, Paul, you are wrong. I remember one case when they did arrest somebody. It was an African girl and a man.
A grandmother.
No,
you reported as a grandmother at the time.
And a fella for some guns or something like that. I don't remember a grandmother. I remember a young African girl being detained, and I'm saying...
But when I said they never arrest nobody, I mean, in the larger scheme of things, when thousands passing through and they arrest one, that's a joke. It's like when the police tell me they take 300 guns off the street, but 7,000 come in.
Yeah, that's
a joke.
Illegal ones.
Yes, come on, really? And they boast them, but they take 300 guns off the street.
The guns in the chicken container. There was also the guns in the chicken container.
Yeah.
Because Chinese say that, oh, that's my chicken, but that's not my.
No, it wasn't. No, it wasn't guns and chicken. It was marijuana in the container with chicken. Right? But I don't know what the law. Maybe Richard could explain that if it's sent on your name, once you haven't received it, if you're not responsible for it, maybe that's why they can't detain the people on them.
Yeah,
I know.
In the case of the chicken, it did go to the sender. I
know. If I land in JFK and they find it in my suitcase, I can't say the clothes is mine, but the cocaine is not mine.
We also had a case with
they go cat me away.
Juice.
Exactly.
We had cocaine in orange juice tins too at one time.
I was just about to mention that. No, it takes an intricate system to seal orange juice tins. Has an investigation ever found anything as to how these tins, what machinery were used to seal these tins, where did it originate from? And there's a problem in Trinidad. You don't ever get follow-up as to where these things originated. All we know is the tins are just in Virginia, and that was it.
All I will say is when you have money, things could disappear.
Or you could, or even if you are caught, you could exhaust the system.
When you have money, situations could disappear in this country. As a matter of fact, anywhere in the world, depending on how much money you have and who we have access to pay, things could disappear. That's all I'm going to say.
Well, if you shipping things, millions of dollars worth of cocaine or marijuana or guns or whatever, you have money. You have money, and people who in that industry who want to be corrupt and benefit from it will know that you have money to pay them to turn a blind eye. They will know that. You understand?
I have always said the issue with criminality on the ground in Trinidad and Tobago and gang activity, it is because while we focus primarily on the little black boys on the east-west corridor and in Chaguanas and San Fernando, them is just pawns. They are replaceable and are being replaced to the tune of 300 to 350 every year.
Yeah.
And the people who funding it, who had the money to bring in the container, are sitting in an office with a shirt and a tie, sipping champagne, and fronting so-called legitimate businesses.
Yep.
Anybody have any feedback, any update as to the contractor from Fall Park that was found with the set of automatic weapons?
No.
That is my point.
Yeah, but
He
also
was,
Paul,
there were charges emanating from that, though, eh?
That's my point. Charges. We never heard any charge. We never had any findings at the end. If they were sentenced, nothing like that.
But those things go on for years in the court system, eh?
And I'm going to say, charge in this country don't mean that they will hit the charge in your lifetime.
It doesn't mean anything. Charges. This girl, the AG ex-stepdaughter, she was charged, wasn't she?
I
the
think
former
so.
AG ex-stepdaughter.
I think so.
Not AG, former Minister of National Security.
Yeah.
Right. Correct.
Yeah.
Correct. I stand corrected.
All right. I have a call here, gentlemen. Okay, let's grab this call. Good morning.
Hey, morning, everybody. What it says, Wendell.
Morning, Mr. Patrick. Go ahead.
Ragoobarsingh. He's gone, and I see that next Monday.
Mr. Patrick, you need to
Mr.
come on
Patrick,
the YouTube. I would like to see what you look like.
you sure you want to see what you look like? Mr. Patrick, you taking the 5 million US?
I was thinking about it, but you could have a catch.
From the time you're thinking about it, you're doing it.
What would be the catch, Mr. Patrick? What would be the catch?
Apologize. There's a lot of women and men doing prostitution in their own marriage. I know a woman tells her husband, you ain't no sex in the back half of it. Them things going on in marriage.
So, and did you buy it? And did you buy it?
Not me, I back half of my wife.
Oh.
That going on in marriage. Prostitution is going in marriage. So get started at that.
Well, that's called bargaining, you know. I don't know that they'll call it prostitution there.
No. It's a word for that called a pula. Pornographic prostitution in marriage in Greek. Right. Let me not go there. I don't want to go down politician with this morning. Politicians, I was hearing about the panel name calling and certain men name calling. But you know who was the minister at the time? And that man never went to the inquiry. Sadiq Bash.
Yes, that's true. He was Minister of Works.
Inquiry. The Minister of Works, he said, let's go in there, and he never went.
Yes, that's true.
So who have the authority to make people come and give evidence? We don't see nobody has no authority to do
That's
that.
why I said I believe these commissions of inquiry are a waste of time and money.
Yeah, but who pays for all these things? Taxpayers.
You
Taxpayers.
paying for it?
Right? But in the end of the day, boy, the state have a lot to lose. We have a new fella going up there. Within another thing, the inquiry about the death and the divers. And I heard he was saying something, nobody can force him. Don't rush him and don't force me. He said, I will do my job. And I watching the gun that shoot him man in Japan there. Like that fella come train that a little bit, 5 gun.
Mr. Patrick, you know what you must do?
5 gun.
Just tell us when you're changing stories now.
Oh, I'm going too fast.
You're not a comma, not a semicolon, nothing.
All right. But in the school, you know, they tell you how to teach. You have to talk fast sometimes, eh?
You're talking about something, you're going to Japan, then
That's what I'm talking about. This morning, I was watching on the news, the gun that shoot the Japanese ex-prime minister. They have a 5 gun.
It's a homemade handgun.
It's a homemade 5 gun, handgun.
Yeah.
I wonder where he learns to make that. If he comes straight out and learns to make that. Because the laws say to get a gun in Japan, when they were talking about it. When they believe that in Trinidad and in America, you have to go through some rigid kind of test to get a gun.
Mr. Patrick, sadly, instructions, all those things are on the internet now.
Yeah.
Yeah. But
You just have to Google all them things and it will show you step by step, unfortunately.
they will say that normally head of state and these people don't have no security around them. They're free.
But he's a former prime minister, you know.
Yeah.
Yeah, man.
It's whether his life was under threat. Maybe he didn't have a direct threat at all.
Yeah, but in the end of the day, we have so much security wrong with people here. Everybody has security. Why?
It goes with the office, Mr. Patrick.
Yeah. All right, Mr. Patrick. Thank you.
All right.
Okay.
Yeah. Because I remember when Martin Joseph was Minister of National Security. When he first became Minister of National Security, he didn't have security. He didn't want security. He said that plainly. He didn't want security. His family was enough. And a lot of people were surprised when they would see him about the place with us. And they would say, well, where's security, Minister? He said, well, look them here. My wife, my brother-in-law, my sisters-in-law, my security. Until eventually it was insisted upon that he have security. And even at the point in time that he got security, he still maintained a civilian driver and in his own vehicle. And the vehicle would escort him. He would never sit with police officers in a vehicle. That is how he was. You understand? He didn't want it.
He might not, had he lived, he may not have been able to do that now.
Well, you know,
for sure, he couldn't do that now. You know? But
as you bring up national security, right? One of the issues I wanted to raise this morning was about that whole thing that happened on Monday. And the response of the services in terms of, you know, how they handle the city in terms of evacuation of the city. I have always been one that's been purported that, you know, we don't seem to have a proper plan if an emergency should arise of how we evacuate the city in an efficient and timely manner, right? Because, I mean, we saw that the Beetham was locked down. You saw the kind of gridlock traffic that happened around the Savannah or the Lady Young and all these places. And I mean, when I'm looking at the videos and the pictures, I'm seeing like, okay, the bus route was still two-way. The Eastern Main Road was still two-way. The Lady Young was still two-way, you know? And I mean, if we really have to get people out quickly for whatever reason, right, that's happening, there doesn't seem to be a coordinated effort of how this thing is planned to happen. And I find that to be a little bit, I mean, in this day and age, I mean, I find that to be a little bit, you know, discerning to me or disheartening to me to know that, you know, we cannot find a way to evacuate the city quickly.
Yeah. Well, in the case of an accident, I guess it's easy to deal with it. But in the case of what happened on Monday, was it Monday? In the case of what happened early in the week, we talking here a coordinated effort by the communities to disrupt all the avenues. It's four. It's the highway, it's the bus route, it's the Eastern Main Road, and it's Lady Young Road. Those are the four avenues out of the city at any given time, right? And all were disrupted. You know, the police and the authorities did well to kind of quell it early enough so that it didn't really back up late into the day. Because I left here. I attempted to leave around 1 and couldn't because it was chock-a-block. And then 2 hours later, I got through very quickly. You know, so
well, yeah, but when it speaks to, you know, it also speaks about another systemic issue that we have, which is, why is it so designed so that one community can decide to hold the country at ransom if they have an issue?
Well, I guess it's the location of their community. There's nothing we can do about that now, unless you move all of them. You know?
Oh no, or put different measures in place that different response measures that, you know, that can effectively manage these situations should it happen. You know, if this happens, then you go to plan A. If this happens, you go to plan B, as the case might be. You know, but honestly, you know, just as an onlooker, I don't see that happening. I don't have confidence that there is a plan in place.
Well, again, those are ticklish issues, especially when it refers to communities. You know, and how do you fix? How I should put it? How do you deal with a community that clearly felt that they had the right to do what they did? They felt the right to draw attention to the problems that they have. they had. How do you fix that? As opposed to a car accident, let's put it this way, or a simple uprising in a community for one reason or the other. Let's say a bad road or no water or things like that. You know what I mean? There are different levels of protest, and there's some that you will probably empathize with them, like in that case, and then there are others that you won't. It depends on the individual, I guess.
Okay, well, Wendell, as you bring it up, let me just ask this: does the Port of Spain Corporation, for example, have a plan as to how that they would evacuate the city if they need it?
Well, I'm sure that they do. I don't know that there is. You understand? But that would be an evacuation of the city would be bigger than the Port of Spain Corporation. That's a national thing, because all the capital. If you're talking the capital city here, you understand?
Katie, to answer your question, I do not believe so, because if there's a plan to evacuate the city, the population should know about it. So when they jump in their car, they know where to go.
That's my point, Steve, as well.
So therefore, I don't think there's a plan. They keep talking about it, but then again, it's always talk.
The plan will always depend.
I know that they do evacuation drills.
But the plan will always depend on police officers, to direct traffic. It's a question of traffic, directing traffic, opening up.
But directing traffic is one thing.
Opening up, and I've said this many times, opening up the westbound lane to go eastbound if necessary. We've not done that. We've not tried that. But that's a policing issue.
No, when it's not just a
policing. But even to get out of the capital, to get to the Queen's Park Savannah, to get to Ryson Road, to get onto the Beetham, just to get out to the capital, the 4 square miles, it will take you hours.
What I'm getting at as well. Sometimes whenever you travel, whenever you travel, and sometimes when you travel to other cities, you clearly see marked at different times, evacuation route, right? Some of the major cities have that already planned out, and it's marked already, so that people know if that is enacted, this is the route that you could take. They already know how the traffic rules change. They don't have to wait on a police unit to come on scene and decide how they direct in traffic at that point in time.
You talking
already have a plan that is marked out.
Why all they reaching so high? Port of Spain can't even deal with the potholes. All they want them to have an evacuation route.
Good point.
All they real reaching high.
Let me give you an idea that I've been having for a long time, and it's a glaring problem that we have had for years. When Port of Spain floods, you cannot get to Citygate. The problem is everybody had to get to Citygate to get on a bus to get out of Port of Spain. Why don't we have a backup plan that if there is flooding, this new hub will be on high ground. The buses will be on high ground now to get everybody out of Port of Spain, rather than everybody had to walk through 3 feet of water to get into Citygate.
Well, Lincoln, that's not a fair comment, because they did a lot of work in that area that would have alleviated the flooding of Citygate. I don't know if Citygate has flooded in the last couple of years. A lot of extensive work was done in terms of the drainage and so on down there. So what you are speaking about is what used to occur.
It's still flooding now. The last time it flooded, last time we got some heavy rain, Citygate did flood, and there were videos posted that the runoff was blocked by garbage.
You cannot stop Citygate from flooding. Citygate is in the water. There is nothing you can do to stop Port of Spain from flooding.
The eastbound lane of the highway behind Citygate at any one point in time has a pool of water on it at different points. Right? And it comes over into the utmost left lane, and when drivers are driving, they instinctively slow down before going through it.
But engineers because South Port of Spain is below sea level, if there is a high tide, there is flooding in some areas, and you can't get away from that.
Correct.
In reference to the issue that Katie brought up about an evacuation plan, I don't know that there is one. I will tell you that in the last 10 years, every major emergency I have seen in Port of Spain has resulted in chaos trying to get out of Port of Spain. I have never seen an efficient evacuation of Port of Spain when they had the prison shootout escape in 2014 or 2013, remember that?
Yep.
And people panicked when they had the bomb scares and the bombing in their car park. It ended up in chaos. It always ends up in just when it was with the unrest. Is it this week or last week? The unrest last week, when the information started circulating just after noon that the Betham protests were spreading to Lady Young Road,
Monday, Paul.
then to
Monday.
Duncan Street, and it was chaos trying to get out of Port of Spain. Although we have a national operation coordination center with the police and all of that, it is still not effectively handled in terms of the exit from Port of Spain. The bus route becomes clogged, the main road becomes clogged, Lady Young Road becomes clogged, Wrightson Road becomes clogged, Western Main Road St. James becomes clogged.
In
So
Santa
where
Cruz.
and Santa
Even
Cruz
when
going
it's
through
about that.
Marval and
Yeah.
Santa Cruz becomes clogged. So I've never seen an efficient, effective evacuation of Port of Spain when there's a supposed emergency. Never.
Because sometimes, gentlemen, just like what I did on Monday, staying put and waiting a while might be the solution.
That is a different conversation, Wendell, and you are not telling me that the evacuation plan is for everybody to stay put.
No, I didn't say that. I just said that is also an option.
That is an individual choice. That is not an evacuation plan. We're talking about an evacuation plan here.
And I'm in agreement. Because the situation Monday was different, where all the arteries, all the main exit points were disrupted.
But it's no different to every other emergency we've had in Port of Spain.
No, that's different. That's different, let's say, to an accident on the highway, where I've always said, well, oh gosh, if the accident is on the eastbound lane, right? And it's chock-a-block traffic going up.
You're mixing up. One is a traffic issue, and one is a national, an emergency in Port of Spain.
Well,
they're two completely different things.
But they all result in the same thing. Traffic. Is it traffic we're talking about, you know?
Yes, but a traffic situation is a traffic management situation. A national emergency is an evacuation.
No, it's not the traffic we're talking about. We're talking about the option, the ability to evacuate people out of Port of Spain.
All right. So in a case like Monday, what would you have done different?
I got a great text from somebody we should call who is in the know, who's trained in this. Steve, call Garvin here.
You want to do it in the next hour? I only have 5 more minutes again.
Yeah, you can.
Wendell, okay, let me just quickly give a suggestion like what you were saying there, right? If what happened on Monday, fine, no problem. You know what? The Eastern Main Road, make it one way out of the city. Make the bus route coming into the city one way. That would have alleviated a lot of the congestion.
But they did block traffic from coming west after a while.
On the highway. But I'm talking about taking the roads that you have that are not affected and converting them into freeways or exits so that
I think all they're missing the point. The first thing the authorities had to do was to stop the fires from burning and stop the roads from being blocked. That was the first thing they had to do before they decide to send people all in one direction. The first thing they had to do is clear that debris and out those fires. I think they did that. And eventually the roads opened back up. Because I told you, I said, my experience when I tried to leave at 1, I couldn't move. I turned and I went back to St. James. 2 hours later, I moved smoothly because the debris and so on was removed, and there were authorities out there ensuring the smooth passage of people. So, yeah, I mean, it only turned the program into a city bashing.
No,
It's not a
You're
city
so
bashing.
sensitive.
That's what they do.
No.
You're so sensitive. You get defensive all of a sudden.
That's what they do. All they turn it into
Wendell,
bashing.
it's not city bashing.
Richard would
What
say.
happened? The
exactly
city
what
corporation needs to come with a plan.
We are a small city. We
Hold
have
on.
real problems.
And for a small city, there should not be all these problems.
Steve,
Those things are national issues. Those things a mayor,
a Port of Spain evacuation plan is not a city corporation
that's a
plan.
national issue.
Yeah,
Because
well,
that is
that's
not a-
Dirty issue.
Nobody is blaming the city corporation because that is bigger than the city corporation, Wendell. Right?
Exactly.
And,
that's what I'm
quite
saying.
frankly, Wendell, we don't
But
really
why are they
expect too much
posting
from the city
questions every
corporation. We ain't putting up too much. Or you can't even tire. Listen, while they finish running.
The corporation are real problems, but they're not responsible for that one.
Paul, a tree fall and take down the whole country for 12 hours, so you know, where are we going?
I had enough all you.
The country is susceptible to strong blowjobs, is what I will say. That can blow down trees. I hope your daughter or the car.
Yeah.
Thank God.
Richard, I have a question for you.
Uh-huh.
Richard, in the play, does it be real vodka they're drinking?
No. No.
Yes.
A vodka bottle, there's this ball that is difficult to put fluid into a vodka bottle. So all you have to take out the ball or something.
Yeah. The only time they will drink real alcohol is if it's like a prank that you do, like it's a last night, and it's a prank. So they change all the alcohol to real alcohol. So when people drinking, they'll be like, sometimes they do pranks like that, yes. Because you're drinking it like how you normally drink it, and then you realize, wait, it's real.
So Katie, your daughter already can. Would you take the 5 million US?
Yeah.
There you go. Of course.
Of course, disclosure, as you said, Paul, from up front.
Yeah. You looking at 5 million US, you could send your children, put them in a trust fund, send your daughter to university, buy a couple properties. Who cares? You're giving it to her free and you ain't getting nothing but bad name anyway. So you might as well get something out of it.
Yeah. All right, Wendell, this picture that you sent here under the cookery flyover, what is that?
What is that he's talking about?
He sent a picture in the group. It seems that a car is on one lane under the cookery flyover for those coming out of Diego Martin, but it looked like the car was scrapped. And why is it still there? So that is traffic coming out of Diego Martin.
Is it the beginning of our protest?
I have no idea what that's supposed to be. It can't be an accident because all the headlights, bumper, everything, windshield, everything gone. So I have no idea. That's a weird.
You know, and that is the other thing. That was the other thing about Monday that I also had to query. And you know, maybe Gavin here is the proper person to answer. But normally in other jurisdictions, the police would have intelligence of what is happening, or being planned to happen. You know, so would they not? Don't they have those kind of intelligence sources to say that that there was going to be this kind of organized protest on Monday and have things or people in place to quickly respond and deal with it?
Well, when we interviewed the acting commissioner, he did indicate that there was suggestions, or the intelligence was that there was going to be one, and they tried to preempt it the morning by having conversations with the main players, and there was a police presence early in the morning, but nothing materialized, and the police left because the organization of the protest really started around 11. So it started later in the morning rather than the early morning when you usually would see it materializing. And so he did reference that there was some intelligence that indicated that there was something up.
Which is also interesting because you get an intelligence that something is up. You send men early in the morning and they're home by 11 o'clock, or they go by 11 o'clock? What sense that make? So they could only protest between 5 a.m. and 10 a.m.?
Well, they reduce the manpower, I guess, because they think, well, okay, nothing is materializing out of this intelligence.
But something did do.
Yeah. And they will say they dealt with it.
So they get catch with the pants down.
But I don't know that the police service will see it like that. They
well,
will
they get pants. They
responded.
They get catch pulling back up the pants.
Yeah.
But Paul, maybe they take the 5 million. Who knows?
The TTPS will say they responded, and they responded in a timely manner.
I have no comment in that comment.
All right, gentlemen, this is where we have to wrap it up. I want to say good morning again to Karen Sibaran. He said the car was moved already. Thank you so much, Karen. Scorpion Pepper, why so sensitive, Wendell? Staying put is a personal choice, all right. But thank you so much, folks, KT and everybody else for being on our Zoom this morning by Lincoln via our YouTube channel. Thank you so much. We'll do it again next Friday. All right. Let's get into our news brief, all powered by Champlain Auto Services.
This is your news bulletin from Power 102 Digital.
Do what is useful and helpful and let good sense prevail is the advice coming from Prime Minister Dr. Keith Rowley as he reflected on the recent